This has been brewing on my mind for a very, very long time, ever since this white genocide was announced. Swart gevaar. We grew up with that idea. They grew up with that and brainwashed themselves with the idea that the black man whose land they were occupying was coming to hurt them. No, not to take back the land that was theirs, to just rape and pillage and all the things that they had done to the people of this continent. Another thing, you find the Afrikaners, especially, who say, but the Cape where I am, there were no Xhosa people, there were no Zulu people, it was just the Khoi. So why do they say South Africa is theirs and blah, blah, blah? Except everybody moved around. Before the settler came, we were free to roam. So maybe 5 years after the first person found, discovered South Africa, the AmaXhosa or AmaHlubi or whoever would have come and settled here amongst the First Nations, Khoi or San or Khoi, whatever they now call themselves. But they came and stopped us from roaming around. So we did roam around. Africa, the whole continent is ours. It was ours. Mna AmaHlubi, through my mother's side. AmaHlubi came from way up top up there and came all the way down to South Africa. And some Hlubi people are up still in DR Congo and some are in Tanzania. Africa belongs to the Africans, all parts of it. There is no, this is where the Khoi were. That is a Western concept. But they came to Africa and unfortunately they implemented Western concepts all over. With every breath they took, they were breathing fire. Western life, Western in every way. And they had the power, they had the guns, they had the bullets, they could shoot from afar while our people they had to get close. It was an unequal war, and so we had to surrender, though we lost many brave soldiers. I'm saying this because I want those currently 67,000 Afrikaners who have applied to flee to America to go. Please go, and there you will see what real danger is like when you go to the schools and the children have to be thinking about gunmen entering in and how they have to evacuate or however they have to evade the gunmen. Please do leave, all of you. In fact, I wish all the people of Oranje would also leave. All the people of Moorreesburg who treated us so badly, I wish they would leave. I give you free passage. I'll pay you to leave, just R5. All the people of Philadelphia who called the police on us when we were just taking a walk, please feel free to take Trump's offer of refuge and go. Here's one thing I tell you now. We have forgiven a lot. And I'm sick and tired of seeing people saying, oh, now it's reverse, apartheid in reverse. It's not. White people can live anywhere they want. We don't stop them from being managers, directors. We don't abuse them if they ever do work for us. They're the ones who still beat us. We don't have lion farms on which we then take them and throw them to the lions. I've spoken to you about recent events that show that the African genocide is still silently continuing just because we're black. Just because we're African, the children who are killed, children who are injured, children who get mown down by bakkies owned by farmers, it still continues. So I ask those people who don't know how to live in peace to go. Then maybe on those farms that you vacate, we will find the bones of our aunts, our uncles, our grandparents, who you murdered and buried there. Now, this is a heavy subject and it comes in so many different formats. I grew up living it. I can't explain to anybody what it's like to grow up amongst. I was thinking about my father, how brave my father was to stand up during that carol concert in that independent white school, the only one that would take me, and stand up and, do you know, while we were singing Nkosi Sikelel' Afrika. And I then thought how he had no clue that my teacher was racist. How many other people were inwardly cringing and hating that he stood up and was just praying for peace and freedom. While we sang the banned song, banned at the time is in BANNED, not allowed by the government, apartheid government, Nkosi Sikelel' Afrika, God bless Africa. And still we pray today, God bless Africa. These people who go on about reverse have no clue what apartheid was, because they lived in their little beautiful suburbs far away from our reality. They have no clue the suffering we underwent. They have no clue how fearful we were. There were gunmen, police officers, as we entered into our townships that we were forced to live in. The level of anxiety you have to live with every day. Okay, I'm going in. They're watching us. They've got their guns trained on us every single time you enter. The ones that go around, those police vans, Casper, all of them rumbling around the streets. The guns, the tear gas. It's horrific to remember. These people who think we are doing the same, it means they have no clue what apartheid actually was. They are allowed to educate like they want. We haven't held back education from them. They're allowed to be whatever they want to be. They can be astronauts. They can be anything. We weren't allowed to. We weren't even allowed to really go and work in an office as a clerk, just a normal clerk, a bookkeeper. No, we weren't good enough. Don't tell me that we are reversing anything. This is nothing. Whatever is going on that you're really suffering from is nothing. And of course, as I've said before, we are all dying. I loved the comment that a woman made, I think I might have shared it actually, where she said actually, a white woman in Natal said, the greatest victims of crime are actually black people, not white people. They are the ones who, if you look at the stats, they are being killed the most. And that is true. I know too many relatives. I've lost too many relatives to crime. They weren't committing it, except for one who was a gangster, but everyone else was an innocent victim, like the innocent farmers out there, just trying to live their life. One was my cousin who was at university, entering res, taking his key, opening his door, thinking I'm safe. And they came. And they shot him, just trying to be a good black citizen of South Africa, going to get his education so that he can contribute to the country. There is no white genocide. We are all dying. We are all losing people. And again, as I said, most of us have seen dead bodies. We've seen enough fighting, shooting, stabbing, necklacing from childhood. And it still continues, the gunshots in our hoods. It hasn't ended. Our suffering hasn't ended. Those who think it has, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't realize how bad it was. It wasn't for no reason that Mandela went to jail for 27 years. So every black person who says it's worse now than it was then, they're fools And they can also join the 67,000, maybe 71,000 now, who are going to Trump land. The rest of us, will build the country. I wish they would go, and that is why I wish they would go, so that the rest of us can get along with building the country, fixing corruption. Don't ask me how. Working together to build a real South Africa, a real one nation, because this is not one. Every time they talk about the suffering, the fleeing, it triggers so much pain, because man, would I like to flee. Every time I hear, it was like the way I would hear a white person who's South African when they want to be, but they've got a British passport. I want to flee. I want to flee the suffering they brought, which they are now escaping from. Unbelievable. So we will work together, those of us who are here, loving the people, judging based on actions of the individual, and not prejudging until they've done something, said something. The people who actually do like BEE. But as we have seen, especially here in the Cape, there are not enough candidates to fill the posts, not enough truly, not educated, but trained people to be the managers, the directors. They're not enough yet, because apartheid only ended. It was too soon. It's too soon to hope that there will be all these CEOs who are African, who haven't had enough proper education. And in our townships, the education is still township-like, in a sense. And I mean that with sorrow. I say that with sorrow. The marks that are achieved in the township are not as good as the marks that are achieved in the suburbs. The teachers who are teaching, which education system were they taught under? And that is why things are the way they are. It will take a long time to get the right candidates to fill all the positions that the people are saying, the white folk are saying, are being taken from them. They're not. Everybody's still job hunting. And on that note, that is the unrecognized white privilege. One example. They keep saying they are taking our jobs. Which God decided that only white folk should have jobs, only white folk should be managers, etc.? That is exactly what we're trying to fight. Everybody is desperate. So I dedicate this to Elaine Perry, and her husband, Dave. I hope they don't mind my saying their names, because they understand. They understand exactly what's going on. They love South Africa. They want the black man to be pushed ahead so that they can then be equal. Because right now we're still behind, and I appreciate that so much. Yeah, anyway, that was my sad part. The last sad part is, there are actually two sad parts. Now I'm talking about us working together. There are many truly unracist white families who have adopted black children. Some are racist, so I won't go there. But there are some who are truly, truly non-racial, non-racist, whatever you want to say. And they are helping the children to have a better future, live in the right area so they can go to the right schools, which already is a leg up. We will be honest, it's a leg up. And change with the life of one black child, I'm happy about that. Even though they're not going into it to change their life. It's about having a family, but it does have that impact as well. The one sad thing I wanted to talk about was I was listening to, I have playlists in my car. I don't travel much anymore. I don't drive very far because it's too sore. So I don't really listen to my music. And this week, I heard we were with the children. My daughter, who doesn't really talk, had asked for a drive. So they'd all come with me, and Weeping came up. The song by Vusi Mahlasela, Weeping. That song will always, always touch me and make me want to weep, because I lived the reality of the smoke and the fire and the flames that still remained, even though the enemy was contained far away in the township. So I'm listening and singing along, and then the children ask, what is the song about? What does it mean? And people to explain each line. It makes it more real. It makes it so much more painful to think what we have lived through. Us, our parents, our aunts, our uncles. It's painful. So I explained it, and it's a sad song. It's a sad song if you understand what it means. And then you hear the melody of Nkosi Sikelel' iAfrika, and it just takes me back to my childhood, to my brave father, to a life that was so different to my classmates. Anyway, the rest of us want a united life where where you can turn your eyes to the left or to the right and you can't predict what race your neighbor will be. We want to work towards that. So yes, it was a sad song, and it made me feel solemn and sad. And my daughter Amarissa asked, but why? Why did they do that? Why did they move black people? Why did they force people to stay in small houses with no toilets in their house, no bathrooms, no hot water? Why did they hate us so much? And there's no answer. Absolutely no answer that will ever make sense, even to an adult. Positive things. And that is why I can't get behind all the wokery. I will mention something that will build on something I've mentioned in a previous video that I've recorded but I haven't put on yet. I'm going to put them together now. We've gone through so much real suffering, heard so many other people suffering. One of our church friends lost a leg from being tortured back then. A taxi driver who was electrocuted. Our own parents who were imprisoned from 17 upwards, birdshot in the knees. It's real. And because we know what real apartheid is like and what real racism feels like, not that glass ceiling, words, not all words are as bad as people have made them to be. I will touch on that on the next section of the video. But why I started mentioning the woke part is this. It became so bad in that group with white people making excuses for black people and saying, this is bad. You mustn't call them that, even if they themselves refer to themselves as that. You mustn't do that. You mustn't call yourself a maid if you don't, because we say it's wrong. I will say that later. What happened is they then started saying the violent protesting that happens, the throwing bricks, all of that horrible looting and scary, dangerous protests that happen. They started saying, well, it's not their fault. We should not get upset when trains are burnt, buses are attacked, people are set alight. I lost a cousin during a protest, innocently going to work in a bus. And we have to understand, people have no power. The only power they have is to protest this way. People are poor. What else can they do? Nonsense. People are poor in rural areas. You don't see them going around burning things. You don't see them burning their own clinics, the very clinics they need, shooting at cars innocent citizens who might even be trying to help them. You don't see truly desperate people resorting to violence. Please stop excusing violence from the few who are criminals. Please stop excusing looting. Please stop excusing burning, stone throwing. And none of that is right, no matter what the reason may be. I want us to build, not burn. I want us to work together, not for destruction, but for uplifting and upliftment. That is what I want. And I hope lots of us can do that. And the more of the bad guys leave, the better for us. Maybe we'll have space to build more prisons for the bad guys who are remaining, who can't flee. And so I move on to my next video, which is happier. But I did just want to begin with that because it's been on my mind and it hurts. It hurts a lot to think that outsiders really believe that those who actually still have a lot of power in the courts, in the businesses, etc., are suffering. Just like we did and still do today. Lies are harmful. Let's stop the lying. Vi. Vi and I. Vi is a maid, a South African, or rather working in South Africa, maid. Do you know how woke people have become? The meaning of maid, which is a female domestic servant, that's what maid means, a female domestic servant. I grew up hearing Ndifuba maid, the maid, as in I'm a maid, or I want to be a maid, and the maid for whoever. I am a maid, a female domestic servant. And then people went woke, and their French maids, unfortunately Dubai maids, I'm saying unfortunately because too many are abused there, but maid suddenly became a swear word. I don't know where, I don't know when, and I don't know how it became a swear word. And for those people who actually lived through apartheid, maid is the least of their worries. It's not even on their register. And that's where I grew up. I grew up where my register was tear gas, not being able to play outside, going inside, running inside, closing the doors. Okay, will Vaseline under the nostrils help? Put a wet cloth over your face. Tear gas, not quite often. Seeing people necklaced on the street, that's what I grew up with. Maid, who cares what word is used for a job role? Maid, it was the last thing on our mind because we still had the K word, which we still have today. And then, yes, stabbings on the street, because this one is an informer. He informs the police. He's a police informant. He is impi. We don't want him. We will kill him because he's telling the police about our secret rules, our secret plans for freedom. Having people taken, friends I played with, they were older, but for me they were friends. I'm sure they were just thinking they're babysitting me. Taken by the police, never to be seen again. Maid was the last thing that I had a problem with. It never even came to our conversation in our family. We had bigger things to worry about. So the woke people came. I joined the dialogue group. And that's when I found out that apparently maid is not to be used. Here's the problem. I'm not actually sure why it shouldn't be used. There is the dictionary definition, a female domestic servant. And moreover, I hate prescribing for others what they should call themselves. I see many adverts. I am a maid. I'm looking for a job as a maid. I made, me, made, I made, made. For those who are in the deepest of struggles and poverty, the word made is a word with no negative connotations whatsoever. But we've become so woke that it's now really a joke. We don't even know ourselves why it's so negative. And so there I was in this dialogue group with white people saying this word is wrong and this word is wrong and this is wrong and this concept is wrong. And the white people, we shouldn't have braids. I don't care if you have braids. We shouldn't wear traditional clothing. I've said this before. Wear the traditional clothing. I don't mind. I asked Violet, Vi, what do you think about the word maid? She looked at me like I'm crazy. There's nothing wrong with the word maid. What is there to think? And there it is. We should not, in our hurry to be woke, we are becoming paternalistic and patronizing. I don't use the word maid only because it will offend the people who aren't maids. So I always say house help or helper or domestic worker. That's what I say. But it's not because I believe there's anything wrong with the word maid. It's just because I don't want anyone to think that I'm racist or superior. I don't actually know. Not because there's anything inherently wrong or evil. And more importantly, the Bible uses the word maid, maid servant, manservant. So yes, that's my little off-topic thing. But the things Vi and I have to deal with in this house are insane. So I'll take you through a picturesque, not really, it's not very scenic. I'm not a good photographer. I'm not a photographer. I'm just a get it in the moment mom. So these are the things she and I so happily have to deal with every single day, many times in the day. We get each other. We understand the children. We understand their struggles and we give them grace. That is what I enjoy about having Vi, my domestic worker. I enjoy having an adult who I can say, oh, can you believe this is what so-and-so did today? Oh my, this mess. And I can say to her, the children told me that one of them, for the sake of their privacy, I won't say which one, but they accused one. The one said they didn't do it, but we're all pretty sure it's them. So the children told me what happened. And Vi kept quiet, no complaining. It's a hard job cleaning after these children. And I know when she goes home, she knows that the job continues, and she is always one of those who wants to make my life easier. Finds ways so that I don't struggle or strain in my mommy/teaching/therapy role. So I appreciate it a lot. But yes, she didn't tell me that we had a problem. We still have a problem, plumbing problem. So we turned off the water, the water mains. And I told the children, there's not going to be any water. So if you do a number 2, just close the lid and wait for us to turn on the water, either to wash dishes or to run a bath, and then flush. That's all I said. But this one person, this one child, went to the loo, checked. Yes, it was still not flushing. And then went to the shower. Went into the shower stall and did a number 2 in the shower. And then turned on the water, and of course, no water. So now there was a number 2 in the shower. And she never said a word. It's a thankless task, people, taking care of my children. It's just ongoing. Why did you break this, Amarissa? Why did you do this? Why did you mix this up? Why? 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 And when it's a public holiday or a Sabbath or a Sunday afternoon when she's not here, or the evenings during the week, it's so lonely. I need my Vi to discuss the insanity. She's the only one who gets it. I used to even tell my husband, like long ago, now I've given up. I used to tell him, I should have married a woman because you don't know how to converse. You don't know how to empathize. You don't even know how to see what I'm saying. I'll say something like, Marissa did the splits, but then or I'll say, like what happened this morning, Marissa came to me with a bloody toe. She's been doing cartwheels, and I've told her to stop doing cartwheels in the house. And so she did a cartwheel, and then she cut her toe on the side of the TV stand. My husband's response would be, I hope she didn't shake my TV, or I hope she didn't damage the TV. That'll be it. There will be, yikes, I don't know how you handle these children day in and day out and evening. You have no rest from the insanity and he doesn't think like that. He doesn't see it. She does. So I'm really thankful for my maid, domestic worker, house help, whatever you want to call it. The job is still the same. The attitude is still the same. Even if someone will call them a domestic worker, if they're evil, they're evil. If they're cruel, they are cruel. If they mistreat them, they will mistreat them, even if they've changed what they call them. Sometimes it's not the word that has power, it's the one who uses it, who wields the power, who has the power, the boss, the employer. And I pray that I am being a good boss to my employer. Really thankful for Vi. I'll show you snippets of the things that we also laugh at. My husband doesn't find things funny that I think are silly or cute or funny. It's like it's nothing to him. I don't know. I would feel very alone if I didn't have Vi. So I'll text her even in the evenings. This is what happened, or early in the morning. This is what happened last night or over the weekend. Can you believe what I found in this wardrobe? I enjoy having a maid because she's also someone who can laugh when we should be crying, who can laugh when others tell me, my word, I don't know how you keep your patience. I yell at little things and you can stay calm at all these big things, this huge destruction every single day. Destructive, untrustworthy. You can't leave them in any room. You have to keep checking because 10 to 1, they're doing something they should not be doing. But on a happy note, before I move on to adoption, on a happy note, funny note, they decided they're going to have a feast. First they came and asked, is a feast a bad thing to do, to have? Oh, no, what is a feast? So I explained. We use King James English. I don't say party or dinner. I mean, they wouldn't have understand dinner anyway. So I explain, and then they say, is it a good thing or a bad thing to do? So I said, well, it depends what you're doing at the feast. We can go. Wedding feasts, we go to wedding feasts. So, hey. And they went, and they came back, and they wanted a recipe. They wanted to make an apple smoothie because they watched it in one of the things I downloaded. I didn't have ingredients for an apple smoothie. So I said, okay, what fruit do we have? What ingredients do we have? And they said, can we please make this smoothie without a mommy? So I needed to find something extremely simple. It didn't happen without a mommy anyway. But yes, so I told them make watermelon juice. So they did. I needed to close the blender for them, make it turn, and tell them how to make sure that everything gets blended. And they had their feast. They had their watermelon juice and they had grape juice. I asked, why do you have so many drinks? And the answer was, because it's a feast. So it was fun. I enjoyed that little part, that part. I was there a lot, but it is what it is, and it's better for me to be there than for them to do something terrible or catastrophic or spilling all the juice like they like the footsteps I saw, patter, 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 wet footsteps, wet footprints. That's taken my spray, hairspray, 2 hairsprays, shampoo from a bathroom cupboard elsewhere, and it was a mess. All gone, and the spray pot broken. Why break? Why damage? I don't understand this. I never will understand it. I hope they grow out of it. I really do. It's hard knowing that you have to be on guard, that you're constantly watching and checking because something that bad is happening, something dangerous is happening. Like them catching spiders, like them catching bees in my small Tupperware containers. Bad, dangerous. It's no easy life. And I'm thankful that Vi is there to hear it, to see it, or to get informed about it when she's not here working. And of course, when you have a feast, you get dressed up for the feast. Oh, the adoption. The adoption. It was such a sweet little thing. It's a small thing. My 5-year-old says, Mom, is it true I was driving? Is it true going for our usual autism drive for my generally non-speaker? Is it true that Amy wasn't in your tummy? So I said, yeah, it's true. And then Amy said, yeah. And then she started wondering. She told me that she started wondering if that means then that I'm not her real sister. So I explained the adoption process in a way they would understand. I explained the signing away of your birth rights or parental rights. It sounds just so sad to legally say, I am not this child's mother. So I just explained that, well, the auntie whose tummy she was in, she signed a letter saying, I can't keep this baby. I can't keep this baby. I don't know what to do with the baby. I am not the mommy. Please find this baby a mommy. So at that point, Amy had no mommy. That's what I told them. And then in the meanwhile, I was going around, because we're talking about me, I don't want dad in the mix. I went to say, can you help me find a baby? I want to be a baby. I want to be a mommy for a baby. And then there she was. And I signed a letter. I said the birth moms wrote a letter to the government. So I said, and I signed a letter to the government saying, I want this baby. I want to be its mommy. This baby is going to be mine. And then the government said in the adoption order, I didn't tell them that part, about the phrasing adoption order. So then I told them the government said, okay, you said you want to be this baby's mom. You must be this baby's mommy properly. She is your full baby. And I told them, and that is why Marissa has our surname. She's Nkomo because I'm Nkomo and Aunt you Nkomo. We're all a real family. And then my angel says, I'm so glad you chose her. And I'm so glad you chose my brother too. I love them. So when I'm coming out the car, and they said, yeah, you came from my tummy, they came from my heart. I love you all. And she said, I love love. Sometimes she speaks like she's older than 5, and I love love too. And I'm also thankful I chose them. What do you think? Great. I can see you, Rio. You hugged Amy. Amy. You did. Oh, she kissed you. That's sweet, Rio. Happy children. That's good. All happy?
Yes. Yes, but kind of full.
Okay, you're doing a good job though. Finishing your
Still
soy
hungry.
yogurt. You're still hungry. All right, we can add more to you.
Orange.
Yes, you can go have an Archie.
Okay.